Hey you guys, Lissandro here, and today I'm doing a mobile blog. And I haven't done a mobile blog ever since I did that review at that that abandoned place that used to be a Chinese restaurant that I grew up with. So today I'm back over here at Almeda Mall, this area around here, and I'm one of the wings. I think this is by Burlington area, not by the Macy's area, which used to be. I think it was. I forgot what it was. I think it was foliage or something like that. I'm not really sure. But anyway, uh, but anyway, what I'm going to focus here is last time I was covering the whole deal with surrounding neighborhoods and businesses and interactions and why a lot of the times a lot of these businesses turn eventually go broke and turn into abandoned places and all. Okay, and I'll cover briefly a little bit over Almeda Mall, how it was once at its former glory, but it's not anymore. And what I mean by this is that um, when I first knew of Almeda Mall, and this is way back when I was in middle school. This was like I would say, dare say, like more than 15 years ago, or probably more. I don't. It was a long time ago. That there was um, there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people, and even up to my first years in college, there was still a lot of people. But over time, you started, uh, um, everything started like decrementing, started dwindling down, and eventually, it became into like what we have here, and there's like hardly any people. Like I'm talking about, there's like very few people in contrast to what there used to be here. And what I mean by this, before you had like um, entire groups of people. Like it was packed. It was really packed. There was a lot of traffic, foot traffic, in the mall. But like now, even in the busy times when holiday shoppings and all, even when it's at its fullest, it's nowhere near the foot traffic that there used to be, and what caused this and everything. And it's the same thing that affects these other businesses, these other places that are now abandoned and all, that are no longer at their former glory. There's in reality, some of these businesses are no longer here. Um, others are just mm, they're not growing, but they're not let's say dead. They're just surviving, and some of them are right, I guess. Now, what I'm trying to get at here is that um, last last time I covered that um, the type of neighborhood and everything affects the businesses. Okay, but I want to focus something on something other. Now, usually we all know that like in upper classes, businesses tend to look better than businesses in other classes. And what I mean by this is that if you have, let's say, like a grocery store, and let's say you get three grocery stores. You have a grocery store in an upper class type of neighborhood. You have another one in like kind of an average, not average neighborhood, and another one that's in a really dumpy type of neighborhood. Usually, the upper class one's the better one. The one in the somewhat alright neighborhood is okay, and the crappiest one is usually in the lower class. Now, what affects that? And it's the type of people that surrounds you. If you have a crappy neighborhood, then you're not gonna get them that much good amount of um, amount of customers as if you were like an upper class neighborhood and all. And it all boils down to who can pay the people can pay, because sometimes uh, there's people that come by, they don't have enough money to like buy things or anything like that, so they just loiter around. And the thing is that that's part of it. That's part of like the customers and all. They like looking around and everything. But the thing is, one of the mistakes some businesses make, and this is usually not with larger companies. This is usually with smaller businesses. And basically, what they do is that if you go in, loiter around, and look around, they usually have like signs like no loitering. They're pretty much telling you like no loitering or anything. That if you're gonna buy something, buy it. If not, then get the fuck out of here. It's the kind of that deal. And the thing is, the bad thing about that is that when you do something like that, when you tell someone that if you're not gonna buy anything, to get the fuck out of here, and then, well, they don't actually say that, but when you say some, impose that type of mentality, you tend to scare off your customers. Why? Because looking at the product is part of, um, looking at the product is part of like pretty much advertising what you're gonna sell. If people don't look at what they're buying, then eventually people are gonna become distrustful. People are not gonna be that trustworthy in buying your product. People need to see what they are buying, because part of buying, people are untrustworthy a lot of the time, because remember, there are a lot of scammers. There's a lot of people that take advantage of others, whether they're scamming you out of a product, like, for example, they're not giving you what you want, they're giving you a crappy product, or something else. It all depends. And but anyway, getting back to this whole deal with businesses and the people surrounding. When you have a business in a in a lower income based neighborhood, it affects the businesses, because part of it is that you're not sure if like the majority of people are going to be able to pay within the pay range. Of course, is also part of the businesses that uh, fall in this. And why? Because businesses are supposed to, like, before they establish a business, they're supposed to do research, that who they want to address, who they want to, who are they targeting their product to, who they are selling their product to, and all. Who are they promoting their product to, the pay range, and all that. Okay, but the thing is that that's usually not a problem. Some businesses thrive, others don't, because of unforeseen circumstances, and the list goes on. It keeps on, it goes on, and everything. But the problem is when you already have an established um, business. You already have, let's say you have a store that was once was once at a neighborhood that was once a high income based neighborhood, an upper class neighborhood, and eventually that neighborhood changes and it transitions to like middle or lower class. Okay, usually middle class is not the problem. The problem arises when you get into like lower middle to lower class. And what happens there is that you start within a bunch of people that you get, uh, you get this uncertainty, like if the people are going to be able to pay or not. You get loitering problems. You get a bunch of like other unexpected stuff, like bad apples. And what I mean by that is like shoplifters. You get vulgar people. You get people with bad attitudes. You get all these people with nasty attitudes. And I'm not saying that people in the lower class are like bad apples or anything. What I mean to say is that you get bad apples infiltrate uh, um, are found within the lower class, and that's usually the case. Occasionally, that's not across the board. Sometimes, every now and then, you get like bad apples, and regardless what class, regardless of upper class, middle class, lower class, and so on. Okay, but the thing is that I've seen this happen a lot. I've seen it happen so many times, and what I mean by that is this. Um, there was a not far from where I live. There used to there's well not used to be. There is a Chinese restaurant that opened at what used to be a Kmart. I'm not gonna say where it is, but the thing about it is that it once used to be a really nice place. And this Chinese restaurant kind of had a little bit of the style of the some of the Chinese restaurants that you find in Chinatown, like in old Chinatown, the new Chinatown, and the Bel Air area, basically in the Bel Air area. Okay, but the thing is that when you start getting, like, for example, vulgar people, uneducated people, people that are essentially bad apples, that are just nasty attitude and all, you start getting a lot of crap and everything. And what I mean by this is that the what I mean by this is that I started seeing this restaurant changing. Like, for example, when you start seeing like people tagging in the restrooms, clogging up the restrooms and everything, people being nasty, throwing food and shit, uh, people that are just like fucking vulgar as fuck, then that's when you start having the problem. Eventually, it start you start paying more money to try to recover what was damaged, losses and everything, and eventually over time, you start getting decadence to the point where you eventually have like a really crappy business, and that's the way it is. The decadence in neighborhood starts affecting um, businesses, and that's, in my opinion, that's the part of the reason why you have this mall that isn't the same anymore. You have, like, for example, you have these, in my own opinion, mediocre businesses, like for example, perfume stores. Usually, uh, you only find that like. You only find that like in fucking flea markets and shit. And they replace like a lot of good businesses with other things. Don't get me wrong. There's still like some really nice things. Like, personally, I like the like video game stores and everything. I think I posted a picture of like one of the stores. They had all the Minecraft stuff, the creepers and everything. But anyway, I guess this is all that I wanted to talk about. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.